Okay, good morning. Welcome to Monday. Money. Some people say we're supposed to have Monday off after Super Bowl anymore. Wasn't much of a game anyways. Oh yeah, you get a free Carl's. We'll just advertise that here. Go to Carl's, you get a free burger. Okay, we'll just head right down our list. I see you have emergency management to start with.
Yes, I think Larry's going to join me. And then do we have a slide? Maybe we have slides. All right, so this emergency management, we have this will be the first one that we're showing with January transactions. We printed it off. We pulled the numbers the 1st of February, and so it includes just the month of January only. So for emergency management, we have a budget for intergovernmental of $120,908, and we've received in the month of January $29,743. And this is related to grant activity. Goods and services, we have which is the largest revenue budget category, is at 409,763. And we have not, our first quarter billings have not come in yet. So we expect those to be posted before the month of March. So probably by our next financials. And then miscellaneous is basically primarily investment income, and it's budgeted at 14,300. So we don't have a lot of activity for this month. We do expect this department will have a budget amendment due to grants, a 2024 grant that's carrying over into 2025.
Is that 29, is that the one you got for Longview's cold weather shelter?
I believe that's correct, sir.
Okay.
Forgot to introduce myself, Kathy Funk Baxter, Finance Director. It is definitely the Monday after Super Bowl. Going to their expenses. The largest, one of the largest categories for their budget is personnel. 362,475 is budgeted. We've expensed $14,911. That's basically half a month of payroll. We've only had one payroll process for 2025 so far. We have supplies of 14,900. I'm not sure why there's a negative expense entry, but it's probably having to do with some reversals, some accruals. And then for services, we have a budget of $169,569, and we've expensed $7,397. Most of that's related to, in the services category, the annual billings that happen in January for internal service departments. So
they're kind of like IT and some of those
risk
bill all
management,
departments
IT,
for the work they do, and that's how we come up with their budget.
right.
Yeah.
So, but for purposes of where we target, we're under target in the services right now. But I don't expect that once they start paying their annual service agreements for internal service departments, it'll probably look a little different next month. So that's really, there's nothing I see unusual or anything to be concerned about financially for the 1 month of January. And then Larry's here in case you have questions operationally or.
I would just ask how's the cold weather sheltering going for Longview? How's that working out?
As we've been told, they seem to be up and running well with their new location, and they've been active most of the month of January, and they will be active again this week as we anticipate temperatures down into the 20s overnight throughout the remainder of this week.
Larry, what all do we provide in that shelter?
Information. We help communities when they are looking for shelters to try and locate shelters. As we see grants that come through, pass-through type grants, we try to assist them with those. But as far as we don't provide staff, we don't provide product or locations.
So what kind of resources do you have from 1 year to the next, or is it all intermittent, hit and miss, whoever's gonna help you out, or how does that work?
Again, shelters are not ours. They're not, we don't own them. We don't
Right?
anything of that nature. We assist, just like with an emergency response, fire, police, public works, things of that nature. We will be there, what do you need? And we'll try to support them from finding resources or things of that nature. But we don't actually provide, like I say, we don't provide the building, we don't provide the people. We try to provide the information so that people that are looking for shelters are able to locate them.
Okay, so let me try that again.
Okay.
I know they're not your resources as that you own them, but as far as you getting the information about what resources are available or what places are available to be used as a cold weather shelter, how do you get that information? And is it basically the same places every year?
Typically, it has been, yes. This year was different because the Kelso Longview Ministerial Association used to run the shelters, and they were over, the last shelter was over on Nichols Boulevard. But that had been 5 years, and they said they were done. It was time for somebody else to do it. And that's where the city of Longview stepped up with the shelter at the McClellan Art Center. City of Kelso has one across the road here. That it's not City of Kelso, it's the I believe Kelso Christian Academy that is providing that shelter and the staffing.
So does somebody manage, keep track of, well, this shelter's got 120 beds and it's full, there's no room left there, you got to go someplace else? Does somebody manage that or keep track of that at all, or is it just hit and miss?
They manage it themselves. They do provide us information when there is either they're spooling up, or in a case where they were over full, they would probably notify us, but that's not a guarantee.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you, Larry. Parks and Rec.
Yep, Parks and Rec. So on Parks and Rec, do we have a slide? They're part of our general fund, so their revenue is subsidized by the general fund. Okay, so on their revenue, they have miscellaneous, and this is primarily rental fees, I believe, or park use fees.
Good morning, Sean Rowley, Public Works. Yeah, so most of the revenue here on parks for miscellaneous is going to be rental fees. We have both pavilion rentals and tent rentals and RV rentals at Harry Gardner Park. And then at Riverside Park, we have rentals for picnics and a pavilion there as well.
And so again, this is just the beginning of our financial year. And so this is for the month of January. There was, on actuals, there was $2,145. Budget for the year is $44,000. So not much activity there. On expenses, our largest are, well, actually pretty close. Both personnel and services are large budget items. Personnel is $234,242. We only have the one payroll that's posted so far, and that was $7,368. This personnel budget supports 2 individuals, and we don't currently show that we have any vacancies. For supplies, we have $34,350 budgeted for the year. We have actuals for the month of January, $187. On services, we have budgeted $263,640, and we've expensed $42,616. And again, our services are a little bit higher than what our target is showing. Our target is based upon 12 months, but we have our internal services that we paid. And so those are the full year billings. They're sent out in January. So there isn't anything that I'm seeing unexpected. Last year we had capital expenses. This year we don't have anything budgeted for capital.
Probably a couple comments. You look at the FTE, that's two FTE, you have 2 people, right, Alyssa? Yourself and one other person. And it stretches from Cougar to pretty much out, I don't know if you go beyond where I live, but Hog Island, that little park there. So they stretch across the whole county and do a lot of work for two people.
Yeah. Luckily, you've allowed us to bring on summer help during the summertime as well. We've had 3 in the recent years, and those have been invaluable as well.
During the busy months, yeah.
And Alyssa and her crew put in a lot of overtime and standby time as well.
Yeah. And then our biggest park is Riverside. We made some improvements there with the basketball courts. Those look good. You were having some vandalism issues out there, have you, with toilets and stuff?
Good morning. Our vandalism has dropped drastically compared to the last time we talked about it. Hopefully that continues through the year.
Good,
So,
okay.
Do you know why that has happened? Any idea?
our guess is there's been a few people that were arrested, that live next to the park that we suspected may have been contributing to the vandalism.
I think arrest is a great deterrent.
Yes, it is.
Okay, thank you.
One other comment, and I'll make this because I don't agree with the decision the park board makes on this. I mean, I live with it because that's what we give them the authority to do, but I still believe that licensed, converted UTVs should be allowed in Riverside Park. I think grandfathers should be able to go and watch their kids play ball. They should, if they can go to the convenience store, you know, legally, they should be able to go to our park legally. And so I'll just voice that opinion once again.
And I can bring that up at our next park board meeting, because we do have new members.
Yeah. Other than that, I think you guys do a wonderful job for the Spana area. I mean, last year we threw in the Cougar Rest Stop on you, which wasn't easy, so we do appreciate what you do. Yeah.
That's all I have.
Okay,
These are only two departments.
let me go through my miscellaneous list has been piling up here. The chamber sent me a note. Dennis used to be our person that sat on the chamber's board, and they're looking for one of us to replace him. They meet the third Tuesday of the month at Kelso Elks, which is right over here, right? Yeah. You want to be on that? Third Tuesday of the month at Kelso Elks. Well, they're combined, Longview Kelso Chamber. So this came to you, you want to send back, you'll take care of that? Okay. The other thing, because it takes full board approval to do this, we're looking at a trip back to DC in May when we talked with David Hodges, or David Hodges has been communicating with us and gave us some dates. Public Works is going to send a person this time, I think is important because we talk about the Hall of Justice and we talk about Tootle and those type of things. Last year, the board chose to send Kelly. So I don't know if you want to send 3. One cost would be out of Public Works, that's out of their budget. 2 would be out of our budget, which we have budget for. It'll actually be less than last year because last year it was tied to a conference. So this year, correct me if I'm wrong, but David's, I think, is suggesting like arrive on a Tuesday, meet on a Wednesday and Thursday, and leave a Thursday night. The whole purpose is just there to talk with our representatives. So it'd be a pretty quick deal, and the cost would be less, and the board felt it was beneficial having Kelly because she handles so many things interacting between us all. That she knew what was happening back there. So, but it's totally up our decision what we want to do with that. Yeah. I asked about that. I asked our attorneys, and I said, can I take another commissioner if Kelly's there? And he said, no. He said, we'd be in trouble with OPMMA. Because I was thinking that same thing, it'd be really beneficial. Yeah, I know it. It's goofy. Yeah. So, but we've trimmed this down so it's not part of a conference. We're not paying any conference fees or the extended hotel things, because I think it's beneficial that you guys get out there too and work with David and find another set of dates and do the same thing. It doesn't hurt for our representatives to see us throughout the year.
We'd have to, we could all go, but we all have to be staggered. So there's only one of us back there at a time.
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
I did make the ask because I thought it'd be beneficial to have 2 of us sitting in there. And I said,
Yeah.
well, if we have a public works person there and Kelly there, are we okay with OPMA? But it said, no.
What if you record it so you can bring it back?
Well, I didn't ask that question.
Whip out your iPhone and record with, for God's sakes.
Yeah. So are we okay with, like 3? I mean, we can continue working on that and continue asking questions. if
Yeah.
they
I'm good with.
Gave us an
Yeah.
okay,
Yep.
but, hopefully it's just not one visit out there. I'd like to see you guys get the opportunity to go
Yeah.
out there and visit with them. Okay.
Okay, yeah.
I'm good with that.
I got those 2 done. In the past, this board has not, it's been rare that we've entertained proclamations. Number one, I'm not sure what it does. We expect that kind of behavior all the time from people. I don't know what a proclamation, what makes a difference. I think there's, the institutions that ask them, they must see some benefit to it, or they like having the proclamation on their wall or something. But we're starting to get requests because we got a new board here now that might entertain that. And I don't know how you want to handle that. My first thought is send us the proclamation, give us a chance to read through it. And then we can decide whether that's one we want to do or we don't want to do, instead of bringing them in and having them do it, and then they get voted down like happened in the past. Does that seem more reasonable to work it that way? Okay. Yeah. Or if there's things we don't like what we're seeing. There was one that I heard last year, and I don't need to say who it was. It just had all these facts and figures. And my first question is, where'd those come from? You know? So is that, you understand, if they send us what they want, we'll take a review and get it decided before they ever come in. Okay.
Do we currently have some that people are
We
requesting?
have, we've received, Mike Wallen sent one in April is Fair Housing Month. Emergency Support Shelter sent one, get a proclamation for Teen Dating Violence Awareness Month. So those are the 2 we've seen.
Who sent that one?
Emergency Support Shelter,
Teen dating.
Teen Dating Violence Awareness Month. So have them send us the actual proclamation. Take a look. Okay. I was called to a meeting on Friday. Got time. The Humane Society stuff. And it was, City of Longview called it. They asked me to come over. Sheriff Brad was there. Castle Rock, was there. Kelso was there. They're just trying to get a handle because nobody's really kind of talked on what the contracts were, and just kind of get an idea of what as a county, where do we want to go with this thing? Because everybody's feeling the same thing that we're feeling,
Mhm.
that we're okay with this year's deal, but next year's deal could be way different. Kelso, Longview did the similar ask to us. They wanted a multi-year deal, and it was a hard no. So I don't know that we'll get any of that, but this group come together and they said, where do we want to go down the road with this? Should we start looking at, how we could provide our own shelter, as a county-wide with the cities contributing, or what do we want to do? Just live with it and cry tears when the fees keep going up. So the group kind of decided, well, we're probably stuck signing whatever contract. We'll do the best we can. We're probably stuck signing one contract, but we would like to work as a group in the future. And even if it's a contract, maybe do a contract for the county and everybody has an ILA type thing.
Mhm.
That was one of the thoughts. And the other thoughts is start to investigate what it would cost and where it could be located for us as a county-wide to house a shelter. For example, one of the thoughts is out in the gun range area, maybe we can build a metal building type thing. So it seemed to be that the consensus of the group was to head that way, and they have another meeting scheduled for, I think, March 18th. They have me on it. I don't need to be married to it. If somebody has a real interest to that, I'd certainly pass that along, but I don't mind doing it. I'm just telling you, I don't need to be married to it. Sheriff Brad, I think is going up this Wednesday or next Wednesday. Thurston County took it over in their area, and he's going up to look at what they built for a shelter and how it operates and stuff. So that's kind of where that's at. I'm just letting you know.
Oh, well, I was gone last week. I got to thinking about a young lady that I know was heavily involved with animal shelters in Wyoming and here. She actually worked at the Humane Society for a period of time. Ultimately, she quit here because she was very unhappy with the way it was being run
They
here.
were doing it.
And she went down and became a major, what do I want to say, upper level person in the ASPCA, animal, whatever that is. And in Dallas, Texas, which was the second largest one in the nation, I guess. Anyway, I talked to her about if she could get me some information about how the ASPCA worked and how that was might be an option for the county.
Yeah.
She said that for what she knows, and she's lived in Calais County for years, she said for what she knows about the county, she thinks it would be ideal and was going to try and get me the information on Sheriff Arpaio or Apio, what, I can't remember what his name
Oh,
is,
yeah, out of,
that started the Pets for Convicts or whatever, that Animals for Convicts. Actually, he got upset with his county and they built animal shelters in the prison or in the jail, whatever it was. And they took over the whole thing, and the convicts were taking care of the animals and saving the county thousands and thousands of dollars. She said she knew who to talk to. I haven't heard back from her yet, and I will contact her later today and see if I
Yeah.
can find out where she's at with getting that information. But that might be an avenue for us to look at also.
that would be awesome because this group is just starting and trying to figure out which way to go, whether
Yeah.
you want to throw out an RFP for somebody else to do it or that type of thing, or build your own. Yeah, I think it's a great time for that type of information.
Yeah, right now, I'd like to see at least some competitive, people going after this thing rather than feeling like we're stuck on one set of tracks, got
Yeah.
nowhere to turn.
I agree.
Yeah, I actually called a couple of different counties to find out what they do. And two of our close ones here, Grace Harbor, they don't have Humane Society. They just contract with the city of Aberdeen. They're the ones that take care of it. The county doesn't, they just call the city and then they handle it. So there's a lot of different, and two of those counties do it that way. One of them, the sheriff's department handles it. Another one that I just called the people on one of the boards that I sit on to talk to. And I personally feel like if we can work together with the municipalities, we would be better off coming up with a program that we are all vetted in and have interest in. I think that would be the best way for us to handle it because it's obvious that the municipalities within the county want to be involved to do a better program than what we currently are being offered.
Yeah.
So I think it's in our best interest to do so.
One of the other things, I had a conversation with two ex-employees from our Humane Society, and in that conversation, I mentioned the concern about larger livestock. If you have any cows or horses that get
Yeah,
loose,
right.
and what are you gonna do? How do you deal with that? And they both said, you don't have to worry about that because if you're out in the country where somebody's horse gets loose, there's lots of people out there that own livestock. You start knocking on a couple doors, even if they don't own it, people will take it in until you find out who it belongs to or somebody comes looking for it. So typically that's really a simple answer for the larger livestock. But that's just another angle to look at, I guess.
Yeah,
Well, and I think if you look at it just from an economic standpoint, the amount of money that all of us are paying combined, if we pull that together, we could probably come up with one pretty awesome program and it'd be cheaper for all of us in the long run compared to what we're doing or what we're being offered right now.
yeah, I think we should be able to.
Yeah.
I agree.
And that, it sounds like we should have got together as a group way before this, but
Yeah.
they're certainly interested in now, so we'll just keep heading that path and keep everybody informed what we're doing, what's
Yeah.
going on.
Are we under the gun to have to get something settled in
We-
the short term or? are we okay
While you
for-
were out last week, we signed a resolution extending the date. Was it through the end of February? We were
February
trying-
28th.
Yeah, so, what'll probably happen, I know Longview we'll be signing a 1-year deal since we've had this meeting. They're comfortable with where we're going, so they'll be signing a 1-year deal and then start with the work on this committee. And it'll probably, we gave Brad the authority to negotiate that, so I would expect it'd probably be a 1-year deal and we just try and work something out before the next year comes around.
Okay,
Where was Kelso at?
Kelso's the same place.
Okay, they're gonna
Yeah.
do 1 year and
Yeah.
then,
Woodland had already signed and Castle Rock had already signed, so they're what they, Kalama doesn't do anything. They don't have many animals. And so what Kalama does is, they have, host families that take in whatever strays they have. Theirs are so few. They have enough host families that just take in those strays, so they don't have need for a shelter. Benefit of being in a small community, I guess.
yeah, no kidding.
Yeah.
or they just handle it differently.
Yeah.
How
But
about-
they were gonna, I think it was, Chris Collins from Longview was gonna reach out to them and see if they wanted to be part of the group anyway, just to know what's going on.
Awesome.
Okay, that's where we are on that. I think that takes care of my miscellaneous. Okay, we can, unless there's anything else, we can recess till 10. Are they, do you have anybody else from Public Works? I mean, are you it? Yeah. Okay. So how about we just recess till we see Susan walk through the door? How's that? Okay. Okay, we're back from recess. The important person we've been waiting for showed up.
Thank you for making me feel important. I'm sorry I delayed your schedule.
It's okay. I think you're about the only thing for the agenda tomorrow,
No.
right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Good morning, Susan Eugenius County Engineers. So tomorrow on the agenda, we have a call for bids for geomembrane that we use up on the landfill,
Correct.
which will open on Wednesday, February 26th at 1:30. We also have the contract execution for the 2024 unit price guardrail installation and repair. We discussed this a few weeks ago for the award, and they have returned all the paperwork executed on their end with their bonds and all the appropriate documentation. So this is where we go in and repair everything that's been hit by our lovely driving public.
Okay. We approved that bid and then now they've completed all the stuff they need to do, giving us their bonding and all that kind of stuff. So now it's ready for just to sign the contract and move on.
Sign the contract, move on. We have a pre-construction conference set up for them because they want to get to work right after President's Day. Get out there and start getting these things repaired because we have a lot this time.
do we take care of, like Highway 411 and some of that stretches or WashDOT?
No, we do not take care of anything for WashDOT. They use their own forces generally on overtime to do that, and sometimes they also bring in contractors.
Okay. Cause I know I've seen it, some of our stuff out there every once in a while. They must be doing some contract work for WashDOT.
Yes.
They were out by my place.
Well, your place is not state highway. Everything north of Four
Oh.
Corners is either a city or a county road
Oh, so the stretch between Four Corners
and the county
And-
line.
and up to the county line is not WashDOT.
No, that is not WashDOT. That is a county road.
Okay,
For West Side Highway has an interesting history of being state, being county, being state. So it has gone back and forth on jurisdiction.
oh, okay, I didn't
But,
realize that, all right.
Yeah, that last stretch is county roadway.
What would make it change jurisdictions? Why wouldn't it, once it's one, stay that way?
So that is an interesting, there is a whole process. It's that the WashDOT and the rest of the state goes through of what roadway should be, should have state jurisdiction for the main corridors, generally become state jurisdiction. The Joint Transportation Committee actually has them relooking at that process right now, and there's a report that's due to come out the end of June on changing jurisdiction from one entity to the other, what the process is going to be, and if they have any roadways they recommend switching jurisdiction.
So is it up to them to decide whose jurisdiction it is? Or can we, like, could we request that we want to take this back into a county jurisdiction, or we
Oh.
want you to take it over as a state? Do we have
Yes,
any?
There
input?
is, and that's what the study is on, how that process is going to be moving forward. There's an existing process, but they're looking to modernize that process. And that is what this study is going to show, that either they come out to the legislature and say SR 411 from Lexington to Castle Rock, that section should be county because the main movement is over the Lexington Bridge and using that as the state route, not going all the way up to Castle Rock. And because it was originally set up with Castle Rock as another connector to I-5.
Right.
So that could be something they come out with. But that is the things that they look at.
Okay. Thank you.
Can they force a change?
Yes.
Wow.
But
Can we-
it does go through the legislature, so it is something that the jurisdiction receiving the present can discuss. There are some programs out there for smaller cities that Castle Rock would qualify for, the city of Kelso qualifies for. When they do these turnbacks to the cities, for example, that Green Bridge over there by the Red Lion, that is an old original state bridge. And so Kelso has and does receive some money for what is considered extra maintenance on that bridge. The same with Kelso Drive where it slides because it's considered unusual maintenance. It's called the City Hardship Assistance Program, and there are certain roads and sections that can apply for money through that program.
Do we have any say or input or representation when they make these decisions?
I believe we can speak with the legislature when they're going through it, through the process. But I don't know who ends up with the loudest voice probably has the say.
So theoretically, it's WashDOT that comes through Lexington now, all right?
Yes,
Somebody at some point that could change that to where county is responsible for that?
yes. Because
I would be ticked.
especially because they would give us their slide, that we receive a lot of phone calls about, hey, county, why haven't you fixed the slide? And we always refer them back to WashDOT.
Yeah. Huh, okay, didn't realize that. Interesting. So the next time a big tree falls over the road there and I have to saw it off, I can just send you guys the bill.
Yes, you can send that through the risk department.
Yeah, well, there was, the last time we had a wind event, down by, the little park there, Hog Island Park. That was a pretty big tree that come down across there. I mean, it was pretty good sized. Big old fir. I didn't saw that one up. That was gone before I got down there. Anything else? I think that's pretty much the agenda for tomorrow. It could be short tomorrow. Yeah. I noticed you're gonna try and make me say this word again, and I butchered it last time, and I had to hear from the other two commissioners for the restaurant. I'm just gonna skip it tomorrow. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
I see we have Jessica. We can just move right in with you. We're good with that?
Good morning, Commissioners. Jessica Warren, Human Resources. I have a couple requests this morning. First comes from the Office of Public Defense. They have another unexpected attorney vacancy that they are requesting to fill, just a regular public defense attorney.
Yeah, that was my question.
He is no longer able to practice law in Washington, so. It's
So unexpected.
unexpectedly, yeah.
Good.
Not anticipated.
I'm assuming there's no remedies for the other person to practice law again. It must, I don't need to get into details, but I'm assuming
Yeah,
they looked at whatever they could.
At this time, they're unable to practice law, so
Okay,
it'll be a vacancy for OPD.
okay. We're good.
Yep.
Okay. And then the next item comes from Human Resources. My deputy director has put in her resignation. She has had some family changes over the past 6 months, so I'm unfortunately requesting to fill her position.
Yeah, she did a good job for you.
She did a very good job. It'll
Yeah.
be a tough position to fill.
Yeah. Got any? Well, it's probably not to ask you if you got any leads, but
I'll be posting it externally, both externally and internally. So hopefully I get some good applicants.
okay. All right.
Thank you. And then the last item I have is a request for an executive session for collective bargaining.
Time frame?
10 minutes to start at least.
Okay, so we'll go into executive session for collective bargaining. We're estimating 10 minutes.
Board is extending the executive session for a period of 5 minutes until 10:23 a.m. The board is extending the executive session for a period of 5 minutes until 10:30 a.m.
Okay, we're back from executive session. No decisions were rendered. What do I see next here? Boards and committees. We need to give the okay on some of these. Stormwater? Okay.
So good morning again, Susan Eugenius. The Stormwater Advisory Committee was established in 2008 to comply with the NPDES permit. They're an advisory committee to help direct the program for our public education and outreach, the ordinances that we need to update when we need to update them to stay in compliance with the MPDES. It was established to include 3 to 11 members. We currently have 3 members, one with a term that expires this year, so we would love to flesh out our committee a little more. It's not been a very active committee in the past few years because of the size and us not making any grand changes to our program.
So this one application we have is for the one open position.
There are multiple open positions, so
Oh, there are multiple.
yeah, there's only currently 3 people on the board, and we
Oh,
can
yeah.
have up to
You
11.
can have up to 11.
Yes,
So you're really,
we're running really thin. We've had a hard time holding a meeting in the past few years, just because we can't coordinate schedules.
and this gentleman, it says new to the committee. Do you know him at all?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
William P.E. Pay?
Oh, yeah, William Hoskins, yes. He's involved in the stormwater community. He's an engineer,
Okay.
and which is a good person to have on these committees. Believe the resolution said it should include landscape architects, environmental science consultants, watershed council members, environmental or conservation groups, engineering consultants, transportation interests, development interests, large commercial facilities, related county or government agencies, or other interested stakeholders. I know in the past we had Amy Blaine from CDID 1 was on our committee for a while.
I'm good with Mr. Hoskins.
Okay.
Hope you get some bodies over there.
Yes, it would be nice. So if anybody listening has any interest in stormwater and erosion control, we would be happy to have more members.
Okay.
Thank you.
Next one, I see SWAC.
I have a little handout on SWAC as well. Good morning again. Sean Riley, Public Works. SWAC, our Solid Waste Advisory Committee, is a creation of RCW. It's going to be 70A 205-110-3. We have a 9-member board. We do have 2 positions that are expiring on March 31st of 2025. And then we still have 1 open position for the agricultural division. SWAC itself, we don't have too many meetings on SWAC because we do have a long-term contract in place. Most of our conversations around rates, legislative changes, and then the update every 5 years to our, let me get this right, comprehensive solid waste and hazardous waste management plan. And that's in every 5 years that we update that and submit that to ecology. So those are the main roles that are taking place through the SWAC here.
So they just act as an advisory committee when you need to do work with, it involves a lot of the landfill, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Landfill and transfer station.
This is one of the committees that we got beat up on a little bit because they felt we weren't moving fast enough to fill some positions.
That's my understanding, yes, sir.
I remember.
So the 2 that are coming up, are they reapplying? Do you know?
I believe you have an application for one of those. The second one is John Brugman. I don't know if any communication has gone to him yet.
Oh, I've known Mr. Hannon for quite a while.
Yes, Greg Hannon previously represented the city as well for many years, and then after retirement, he's joined the board as a citizen. So he has a lot of historical and legacy knowledge there. And if you know any agriculture, we have one open spot still.
I've, I tried, I asked out in Cass Rock a couple people, but
Next year will be a busy year, though. We have, I believe, 4 spots expiring in March of 2026, so that'll be a big year there.
no. You probably never tell me straight here, but you're okay with Mr. Hannon? He contributes to the board?
He has, and he's currently the lead of that committee.
Okay. Okay, I'm good with Mr. Hannon, yeah.
Thank you.
You see the other gentleman, he's putting in an app? Or
I'm unaware at this
you're
time.
unaware of what's happening, okay.
Thank you.
Thanks, Sean. And I think the last one we have is Yale Valley Library District Trustee. Right now, what we do know is they're in need, right? Well, we should let them be able to.
Do we know how long they've been looking to fill this?
I would say for about 6 months. We put out a public notice to asking for people to apply, and that was probably in November, I believe, and we're just now getting an applicant.
And we don't know how long this says, NA for length of residency in the county. So-
Yeah, they did not, so they filled out a old application, and those questions were not included on that application.
Okay.
So we've put out a public notice, say that it's been open for 6 months and we have this person willing to do it. I think we're kind of there, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, okay.
Sounds like that's the way it is. Better than nothing.
Yeah,
Start from there. Find out if it's gold or.
right, exactly. Okay, that takes care of that. And did we have anything else you were talking about?
Yeah, I would like to, well, not right now. We'll do that.
Okay. Any other miscellaneous then? I think I covered everything I had. It's nice to have Commissioner Farrell back. Glad he's feeling better. I know you got recovery go, but I'm glad you're feeling better.
Thank you. I am too.
It was looking pretty painful before you had that done.
Yeah.
I was feeling bad for you sitting over there.
It was very uncomfortable. I didn't know how uncomfortable it was until I got out of it.
Yeah. Okay. Then we will adjourn and we'll be back tomorrow for a public meeting. Thank you.